The Living Planet report tells us that we are using the Earth's resources far too fast, faster than they can be replenished. The three indices in this report, the Living Planet Index, the ecological footprint, and the water footprint, all send that message, that our consumption is far outstripping the Earth's capacity to support it. The findings of this report should be alarming to any thoughtful person. It tells us that we're headed into deep trouble in terms of maintaining the planet's ability to support us. But the report also tells us there are solutions, that the technologies to meet this challenge are at hand, and what we need to do now is muster the political will to take the steps that are needed. The Living Planet Index in this report tells us that biodiversity is in sharp decline. What that really tells us is that the capacity of the planet to support life, to support us, is in decline. The biggest single cause of that problem is climate change, and we must act urgently to address the challenge of climate change. Water scarcity is a looming crisis. There are perhaps 50 countries around the world that are already facing shortages, and you can expect that number to go up sharply in the years ahead as climate change takes effect.
To be honest, the economic consequences are huge. Our estimates, based on just a study of the forest biomes, is that we are losing natural capital at the rate of between $2 and $5 trillion per annum. And if you want to equate that in GDP terms, well, over the horizon of our study, that's 2050, we would be losing something like 7% of GDP. And to put things in perspective, current capital losses, financial capital losses, are to the tune of $1.5 trillion. And clearly, we are concerned about that. But when we lose 2 to 5 trillion in natural capital, it passes below the radar screen because these are public goods and services. They don't belong to anyone, they belong to everyone. You can break any problem down into its component parts. So let's look at what is actually happening. We are losing forests, we are increasing the vulnerability of the poor, we are reducing our supply of fresh water, we are increasing the risk of further emissions due to the loss of forests, we are risking our medicinal storehouse in nature because of the lack of species. We are reducing our ability to fertilize and to grow food because bees are dying and crop species are reducing and so on. So each of these is a component, a separate component of the problem. And I think it is possible to take each of these components, but to try and understand it within the whole.
We are drawing down our natural capital. We are affecting the very life support systems that we have come to take for granted. We are spending more than we're earning, or we are extracting more from the planet than it is actually able to regenerate. And that means you're drawing down on your natural capital, on our capacity to live on this planet. And if that trend goes, and at the moment it is not only a trend that seems to be heading on the same curve, it is in fact increasing, accelerating, it means we're heading for trouble. It's as simple as that. Water is essential for life in all its forms on this planet. It is what in many ways defines the ability to live on this planet. We already know now that in the next few years we're going to live in a world where almost a third of the world's population is going to live in water-stressed countries. Trying to understand how much water we use or waste in producing goods, commodities, is extremely important, because once we measure it, we also know where we have the greatest potential to save water, and secondly, we will also know where the greatest, if you want, competition for water will occur. I think it is where environment and economics will meet in the 21st century, is also where governments will restructure the way we look in our societies at these phenomena of environmental change, but more importantly at the economic opportunities. I truly believe that environmental change is going to be one of the drivers for innovation, for new technologies, for new markets, and we're already seeing that happen even in these difficult financial times.